startup guys after a long time. महाकुंभ चल रहा है कि नहीं कुछ ठीक ठाक? प्लीज
सर आज महाकुंभ की पहली मीटिंग है सर 25 की सर, इसीलिए सब कुछ
dates and all are frozen.
सर
Dates are frozen.
नहीं सर,
Oh, there she is. And freeze the dates, you won't get any location. Everything nowadays is getting filled up. We are running out of space. There's no space in Mandapam or Yashobhumi. Don't know if you want to use at the same time. There's no dates available. That is the level. And now we're going back to hangars. Can you believe it? Bharat Mobility, before they start formal program. You remember Bharat Mobility? Yeah. I had to literally press the industry to do it. They were just not willing. 5-6 meeting tak to na bolte rahe. Then when they realized I'm really serious, they agreed. And last time Bharat Mobility was only in Bharat Mandapam. This time they've picked up the whole Bharat Mandapam, whole of Yashobhumi, whole of Noida. 3 complexes, and in 15 days they are sold out. अब मेरे पास influence के लिए आ रहा है कि can you help us get more place? ये हालत हो गई है. Second edition itself. And this time Aman Gupta is going to book a very large place in Startup Mahakumbh.
Namaskar and good afternoon everyone. Honorable Minister Sir, respected Secretary Sir, Additional Secretary Ma'am, Joint Secretary Sir, esteemed dignitaries and our dear friends from the startup ecosystem. I, Harleen Pasricha, and my colleague Shaurya Bhaglal represent the Startup India team at DPIIT. सबसे पहले हम आप सभी का इस शुभ अवसर पर हार्दिक स्वागत करते हैं. Together, we gather here with great enthusiasm and excitement as we embark on a journey that celebrates innovation, entrepreneurship, and the spirit of the startup ecosystem. We warmly welcome you to this momentous launch of the Bharat Startup Knowledge Access Registry, also known as BHASKAR. The Indian ecosystem offers an attractive opportunity for emerging entrepreneurs, providing them an extensive consumer base, advantageous government policies, and an enormous scalability potential. Opportunities to learn, grow, and collaborate can be effectively utilized with the platform to connect valuable and meaningful connections with our industry stakeholders. This is what BHASKAR intends to build for its ecosystem stakeholders.
The launch of BHASKAR marks a significant milestone in India's entrepreneurial journey. This unified platform is designed to empower and connect all stakeholders across the Indian startup ecosystem. Without further ado, I would like to call upon Dr. Sumit Jarangal, Director DPIIT, to deliver the opening address. Please join me in welcoming Sir on stage.
Good afternoon, everyone. I extend my heartfelt gratitude to Sir Piyush Goyal, Amardeep Singh Bhatia sir, Aarti ma'am, and Sanjeev sir. Sir, I will like to talk from my heart, and I will like to say, sir, the day we are witnessing today is result of 3 basic things. First one is the feedback, sir. Sir, there is a HCM dashboard, and through those dashboards, sir, we were continuously monitoring that, and 3 kind of feedback were coming continuously. One was the quality of data, sir. Second was stakeholder onboarding, how we can onboard more stakeholders. And finally, how can we make the current platform more dynamic? How can these stakeholders talk to each other, sir? And it is this feedback which we have taken and try to find solution. And how do we find solution to this? We talk to stakeholders, sir. Sir, all the stakeholders which we see in this room, sir, from NSAC members to Nishit Desai Associate and his team, sir, to CI, FICI, SOCHM, sir, Incubator, SIDBI, sir, all of them have given the feedback. And finally, sir, I would like to say that it is the leadership which counts, from the JS to finance to secretary, sir, from RK Singh, sir, to Amardeep Bhatia, sir. And finally, I would like to thank you, your visionary leadership and your confidence in us that we can deliver. And sir, we really hope that this platform will become just like PM National Master Plan for Logistics. Similarly, BHASKAR will be for startups. Sir, with that, I thank everyone and thank all the stakeholders to join us. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. The Indian startup ecosystem is truly a land of opportunity and innovation. India is constantly innovating on the back of digitization and centralization of data. One such example of digitization is BHASKAR. With this, I now call upon Shri Sanjeev, Joint Secretary DPIIT, to share the envisioned model. Welcome, sir.
थैंक यू। आदरणीय पीयूष गोयल सर, भाटिया सर, आरती मैम, एनएसएससी के उपस्थित सभी हमारे मेंबर्स, स्टार्टअप के जगत के सारे स्टार्टअप्स, और आज सर आपको जान के बहुत खुशी होगी कि इसका लाइव टेलीकास्ट भी भारत के करीब करीब 36 में से 34 स्टेट्स और यूनियन टेरिटरी में हो रहा है। 2 में भी हमने प्रयास किया था पर वो शायद इंटरेस्टेड नहीं थे। एनीवे सर, आज
वेस्ट बंगाल में
सर यू नो सर सर
doesn't need rocket science to figure out the problem.
सर आज के दिन का एक और बहुत बड़ा महत्व है। आपको सर याद होगा, ठीक आज के 1 साल पहले आपने सर यशो भूमि का हवन किया था सर, और उस दिन से भारत का जो एक बड़ा कन्वेंशन सेंटर का जो सिस्टम स्टार्ट हुआ, उसी तरह आज आपके कर कमलों से सर भास्कर का शुभारंभ होगा। और सर आज स्टार्टअप की ये इंपॉर्टेंस है सर, चाहे आपका डेलीगेशन हो या ऑनरेबल पीएम का डेलीगेशन हो, हर डेलीगेशन में स्टार्टअप रहते हैं। अभी सर ऑस्ट्रेलिया के जो दौरे पे जा रहे हैं उसमें स्पेस के 3 बड़े स्टार्टअप्स जाएंगे। सर हमारा हमेशा से आपके गाइडेंस में प्रयास रहा है कि पूरे स्टार्टअप इकोसिस्टम को एक्सपैंड करें, और इस कड़ी में सर जो सबसे पहला काम हम लोगों ने किया सर वो था 1 स्टार्टअप इन एवरी डिस्ट्रिक्ट। ये सपना है सर कि हर जिले में कम से कम एक स्टार्टअप हो। सर आपको जान के बहुत खुशी होगी कि पिछले 6 महीने में हम लोगों ने 84 डिस्ट्रिक्ट्स में नए स्टार्टअप खुलवाए, और अब केवल 20 बचे हैं, जिसमें 17 के हमारे पास लीड्स हैं सर, और 3 बचे हैं उसको सिडबी ने सर। और तीनों सर आप नाम सुन के हैरान रहेंगे कि पहली बार नॉन सोशल स्कीम्स लाइक जनधन हम हर जिले में पहुंचने का प्रयास कर रहे हैं। नागालैंड में सनाटोर, दिबांग वैली इन अरुणाचल प्रदेश एंड जिरीबाम इन मणिपुर में कुछ कारणों से हम नहीं कर पाए, पर अब एसपी सिंह साहब के साथ मिलके इन तीनों में करके सर आपसे हम लोगों का वादा है कि 16 जनवरी से पहले हमारे 100% डिस्ट्रिक्ट्स में सर स्टार्टअप होंगे। सर दूसरा हमारा बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट सर जो प्रयास है जिसमें आपकी मदद की आवश्यकता है सर, हम लोगों ने करीब मोर देन 100 जो इंडिया के टॉप कॉर्पोरेट हाउसेज हैं उनसे रिक्वेस्ट किया है कि सर इंडिया में बहुत सारे इंक्यूबेटर हैं, वो डिस्ट्रिक्ट फिनटेक में है पर मैन्युफैक्चरिंग में नहीं है, और मैन्युफैक्चरिंग में अगर इंक्यूबेटर्स आएंगे, स्टार्टअप बनेगा, तभी मेक इन इंडिया, मेड इन इंडिया बनेगा। और ये हमारा दायित्व बनता है कि जैसे यूएस में जो इंक्यूबेशन स्पेस है वहां के कॉर्पोरेट हाउस लीड करते हैं, और सर इसका बहुत अच्छा रिस्पॉन्स रहा है सर। अपने सर ओसी के ऑर्गेनाइजिंग कमेटी के नायर साहब जो अभी है नहीं सर, एनआईडी के साथ आज ही उन्होंने एमओयू साइन किया है सर। उनकी फैमिली ऑफिस ने 1 करोड़ का वो सर ग्रांट कर रहे हैं इंक्यूबेशन स्पेस करने के लिए। उसी क्रम में अपने अमन गुप्ता साहब भी हमारे साथ सर एमओयू के थ्रू जुड़ेंगे, संजीव बिचंदानी साहब भी, और जितने भी सर सीआईआई, फिक्की, वॉल्वो भी सर हमारे साथ एमओयू करेगा। वचानी साहब डिक्सन के थे। ये सर आइडिया एक्चुअली कॉर्पोरेट हाउसेस को बहुत पसंद आया सर। दे प्रोबेबली दे वर जस्ट टू बी टोल्ड कि इसको करना है। सर हमारी जो तीसरी जो एक महत्वपूर्ण चीज थी जिसकी स्टार्टअप महाकुंभ सर, जिसमें सर आपने ही कहा था कि क्यों यूएई में वर्ल्ड का सबसे बड़ा फूड एक्सपो होता है, तो सर आपके गाइडेंस में आपने सर पहले ही बोल दिया, पर भारत टेक हो या सर भारत मोबिलिटी हो, और उसी तरह माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी का जो विजन था सर 50 देशों का पार्टिसिपेशन, ये हमारा सर प्रॉमिस है कि इस बार के महाकुंभ में हम लोग 50 देशों का पार्टिसिपेशन कराएंगे सर, और आज हम लोग इसकी पहली औपचारिक मीटिंग करने जा रहे हैं सर। एंड लास्टली बट नॉट द लास्ट सर, सबसे जो महत्वपूर्ण कड़ी है वो है सर भारत स्टार्टअप इकोसिस्टम रजिस्ट्री, जिसकी पायलट प्रोजेक्ट आपने सर यहीं से सर 17 फरवरी को किया था, पर उस समय जो जोर था सर वो केवल
27 फरवरी।
यस सर
27 फरवरी।
27 फरवरी सर।
Somebody has to be wrong, one of you.
सर आई एम रॉन्ग सर, आई एम रॉन्ग सर।
Certainly, Sanjeev, you know me better than that.
सर यू हैव फोटोग्राफिक मेमोरी सर, so I take back my
But I could equally be wrong. I was just trying to.
सर उस समय जो भारत स्टार्टअप इकोसिस्टम रजिस्ट्री की जो कल्पना थी सर, वो केवल एक रजिस्ट्री थी। बाद में जब हम लोगों ने इकोसिस्टम से बात किया तो ये निकल के आया कि इकोसिस्टम रजिस्ट्री से इंपॉर्टेंट है कि उसमें सर्चेबिलिटी फैक्टर होना चाहिए। तो सर जो आज आप भास्कर जिसका उद्घाटन करेंगे, उसमें अपार्ट फ्रॉम सर्चेबिलिटी फैक्टर सर, आप हमेशा से हम लोग को दो बातों के लिए सचेत किया करते थे। एक की डेटा क्लीनिंग होनी चाहिए, और दूसरा डीजीएफटी का जो मॉडल है कि एवरी ईयर हर स्टार्टअप को अपने को रिन्यू करना होता है, जिससे वी हैव ए क्लियर कट पिक्चर अबाउट द स्टार्टअप्स। सो उस स्टार्टअप में कर रहे हैं सर। इस यात्रा की शुरुआत आपसे की गई थी सर, और हमारी सारे स्टार्टअप में जो हमारी टीम है उसकी आशा है सर कि जब 50 लाख वहां हो रजिस्ट्रेशन तो माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी से करवाया जाए। थैंक यू, जय हिंद।
27 तारीख। कर्टन रेजर पे 27 तारीख।
हाँ, जो कर्टन रेजर हुआ
तो 27।
Thank you, sir, for setting the stage for the launch of this revolutionary platform. Bhaskar, as one-stop digital platform, will be an important driver in the digital India growth story. In this context, I now call upon Shri Amardeep Singh Bhatia, Secretary DPIIT, for a special address.
Honorable Commerce and Industries Minister, Mrs. Aarti Bhatnagar, Additional Secretary and FA, Sanjeev, Joint Secretary and in charge of startups, the moving force, in addition to Honorable Minister, who's been spearheading the efforts towards improving the startup ecosystem, his entire team, the entire ecosystem of startups represented here. It's a pleasure being here to give this address. This startup journey, although informally has been there for much before, but formally started up in 2016 with an action plan, and thereafter a number of schemes were rolled out aimed at improving the finance, ease of doing business, reducing compliances, providing some tax benefits also. And since then, we have grown and grown. We are the third largest in the world. We are spearheading all technology areas, whether it is space, whether it is AI, electric vehicles, or semiconductors. Now, we have in the process built a very good ecosystem. It's not only the startups, but the mentors, the partnership with the academia, the partnership with incubators, setting up incubators, and as Sanjeev said, spread out across all states and almost all districts, which indicates the breadth and depth of our interventions and the enthusiasm which has been shown by the entrepreneurs across the country, and also indicates the pent-up demand for this which was there. We have at the moment 1.43 lakh startups which are already recognized. They have provided jobs of more than 15 lakh people, and as Sanjeev said, we aim to reach 50 lakh startups. There's a big push towards manufacturing not only for the domestic market but also for exports, also to be part of the value chain, global value chains across various products, which is the only way in which we can move up, increase the GDP of our country, increase the standard of living of our people, provide greater employment to our people. Startups have the most critical role to play in technology as well as in providing employments. This platform, this BHASKAR platform, which is being planned, which is now going to be launched today by Honorable Minister, is you'll ask how is it different from the other platforms which were already there. There was the Investor Connect platform which is there. There is the Marg platform which is there. The Investor Connect platform which connects investors to the startups. Marg which connects the mentors to the startups. Now this one will bring everyone together. It is not a registry only, as the name indicates. It's not a registry only. It will bring everyone together. It will provide and the entire ecosystem online. It will be a LinkedIn, it will be a Facebook, it will be an X or whatever you want to compare it with, a social media platform, a platform where you can find whoever else you want to find, whether it is a technology partner, a finance partner, an investor, a mentor, or you want to look into case studies or knowledge repository also, it will act as. Now, in order to become that, this is the vision which is envisaged. In order to become that, all of you will have to contribute. There's a team working behind, but all of you will have to contribute ideas. Will all also have to build it up. The greater the participation, the better it'll become. So it is, I call it a startup platform. So it is also a startup. If you have to make it into a successful one, you will have to contribute. You will have to, all the startups will have to come together and contribute towards it. I am very sure you'll be able to make that happen. It is up to all of us. Let us work towards making it happen, making it into a stronger platform, which will take this startup movement forward. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for sharing your valuable insights. Yat bhavo tat bhavati. The power of our thoughts and emotions shape our life. If we think about positive things and set positive intentions, positive results will naturally follow. The thought of Bhaskar was conceptualized a little over 6 months ago at the curtain raiser of Startup Mahakumbh in February 2024 by the Honorable Minister of Commerce and Industry. This vision turned into a reality only with the positive intention and the support of our stakeholders. Now the moment that we have all been waiting for is finally here. Months of conceptualization, execution, and ecosystem consultations have led us to this day. We are honored to have the Honorable Minister of Commerce and Industry, Shri Piyush Goyal, with us today. Sir, may we please request you to kindly launch the Bharat Startup Knowledge Access Registry with the click of a button.
Every dawn brings new energy, new hope, and endless possibilities. Possibilities that are shaping India's rapid growth as one of the largest startup ecosystems in the world. With opportunities expanding, a powerful platform emerges to unite all stakeholders. Introducing BHASKAR. BHASKAR is a one-stop digital platform where all the stakeholders of the startup ecosystem connect, collaborate, and grow together. As India advances, BHASKAR illuminates the path for every stakeholder. Startup founders, investors, students, traditional business owners, incubators, corporate partners. A new chapter begins for India's startup ecosystem. Bhaskar unites, empowers, and lights the way for a brighter, innovative future. Join the community now.
Thank you, sir. We are deeply grateful for all your guidance and all your vision that has made this launch possible today. Now, we request the Honorable Minister, sir, for his keynote address. So, we welcome you on stage.
Thank you very much, Mr. Amardeep Bhatia, our new secretary in the DPIIT. I don't know, many of you must be seeing him for the first time. So wonderful colleague. He was with me in commerce as additional secretary and brings with him rich experience in the administrative service across the country. And under his leadership, I have absolutely no doubt we're going to see the startup ecosystem take fresh wings. So warm welcome to you, Amardeep Bhatia ji, into our family. If you will note, I said our family. I'm putting myself into the startup ecosystem also. Ms. Bhatnagar, Mr. Sanjeev, all the esteemed members of the National Startup Advisory Council, all the wonderful innovators and entrepreneurs who have made us proud with your work, with the outstanding achievements that many of our startups have already done, and those of you who are going to, in the next few years, become really powerhouses in your own way, unicorns or sunicorns and whatnot. My warm welcome to all of you on this very important day, barely 6.5 months after we had initiated this concept of Bhaskar. It's delightful to see all of us gathered here today. I'm also happy that you are having the meeting for Startup Mahakumbh later today, where I assume you will finalize the dates, check with Yashobhumi, Mandapam and Noida when all three are available so that you can fix a date where all three can be picked up, and your size also becomes much, much, much larger than the last time around. I think the last time you had 5 halls, if I remember correctly, but you had not taken the first floor of those 5 halls. So the expectations are much larger. I think many people who visited Startup Mahakumbh may be wanting to join this time. So let's see, let's go for ambitious targets, but do take decisions fast, because every time we delay taking decisions, the outcomes get compromised. So I hope you'll have a good meeting today. These are auspicious days. Ganesh Utsav is going on across the country. Oh, day before yesterday, I must have visited at least 25 Sarvajanik Ganesh Mandaps in my constituency in North Mumbai. And there can be no better time to start something new than during the Ganesh festival. Many of us must be doing Ganesh Puja whenever we start something new. Enter into a new home, start a new business. हम किताब भी खोलते हैं तो ऊपर लिखते हैं ओम गणेशाय नमः. This is wonderful that Bhaskar is being launched during these auspicious days. Of course, today is also Eid-e-Milad or something. Right. So my best wishes to everybody on the auspicious day also. And it's wonderful to see the concept that Bhaskar brings to the table, trying to integrate all the people who are probably dreamers, doers, disruptors, everybody getting together on one platform. And in a way, the name also, the acronym has come out quite well. Bhaskar, for those of you who don't know, symbolizes the sun, Surya. Huh? Ugta Suraj. Chalo, that's even better. Ugta Suraj. तो वो तो startups के साथ और appropriate हो जाता है. And with the sun, I think, comes enlightenment. With the sun comes light. With the sun comes growth. The sun really expands in its dimensions through the day, gives us warmth. And Bhaskar, we hope, will help the startup players, the people who are involved in the startup ecosystem, connect with each other, collaborate with each other, cooperate with each other, also compete with each other to see what else is your competition in similar areas. What the competition is doing smarter and better. Why should there not be this healthy spirit in our ecosystem? And I'm sure Bhaskar will bring hope, aspirations, success. Bhaskar helps bring hope, aspirations, success. Okay, to kickstart, what will it kickstart? Ambitions or?
Natural aspiration, national aspiration.
Kickstart ambitious revolutions. I'm trying to put Bhaskar into context. And it can do that. It has all the ingredients. I was just telling Secretary that we had introduced MARG in our National Advisory Council. I think all these separate elements we should now bring onto one platform, integrate everything at one platform. That way, our young or any startup anywhere in the country, tier 2 cities, tier 3 cities, they will not feel left behind when it comes to knowledge. The knowledge that is available to somebody in Mumbai or Gurgaon or Hyderabad, Bangalore or Chennai should be available to somebody in Dibrugarh also or Banaras also, Jalandhar and maybe in Barmer. And the advantage with technology is that it's a great unifier and a great way to disseminate the latest that's happening across the sector. I have taken a decision just a few days back, but I think sort of been kick-started. Today when the team meets with Sanjeev, आप भी थोड़ी देर बैठे तो अच्छा है. Please finalize starting a Section 8 company so that the National Startup Advisory Council also comes within the NSA, within the new startup company. अगर भास्कर नाम मिल जाए तो देख लो और भी अच्छा है. But you may find it difficult because this name I think a lot of people would have already taken. या कोई सूर्य से जुड़ा हुआ नाम ले लो, कुछ भी ले लो. But the name is not that important. Let's create a Section 8 company. Today, Startup India is housed in Invest India, if I'm not mistaken. I think now Startup India, which is such a powerful ecosystem by itself, should have a house of its own. Am I right or wrong? And maybe what could be the way forward on that? While I was thinking ministry immediately Karle start Section 8 company, SIDBI can, since you are handling a lot of our funds and all, you can also be actively involved in the Section 8 company. Another thought, how do we recognize our unicorns? Why not have a system that we will be issuing shares also in that Section 8 company to everybody who becomes a unicorn? We have to find ways to encourage people. तो suppose that normally मेरे mind में पहले आया CII, FICCI, SHM को बोल देते हैं, तीनों मिलके Section 8 company करें. Then I thought, नहीं, we should have TIE and NASCOM and all of these people initiated instead of CII FICCI. But I'm thinking we should look even beyond. Why not all of you own that Section 8 company? Manage it professionally. Manage it like you manage your bootstrap startups or whatever way you maintain your cash flows, maintain your tight budgets, make sure no extra hires are there, in a professional yet innovative and very, very different from the traditional businesses. So you all work out today how it can be best done. And then that Section 8 company can actually start owning these assets of technology also. That way it will be nimble, it will be current, it will be industry-led. So you can rightfully see that trade secrets are not let out. You can rightfully see that the right amount of information is available. How do we connect different stakeholders of this ecosystem? You can then also engage with government to see what you need from the government. For example, finally we got the angel tax out of the way. That is done. That PhonePe will be very unhappy. They spent $1 billion in taxes before you change this. Huh?
So it doesn't change
The tax structure is not changed. Okay.
It speeds up the whole process in India.
Okay, so then he's
You
okay.
don't have to go to LCA.
No, I just wanted to make sure मैं 5 तारीख को ET के startup awards में आ रहा हूँ, and I'm actually flying in directly from the US to attend that. I was to be traveling that day, but I'm making sure I reach in time because I believe in all of you, and I believe it's fun to be a part of that program because I get to learn so much about what all of you are doing. So much so that in one of the ET startup awards functions, I had a young man walk up to me after the functions while we were all having dinner or just getting to know each other. A young man walked up to me, and you'll figure out who that young man was. और मैंने बड़ा अच्छा आत्मनिर्भरता के ऊपर भाषण दिया था. I thought I spoke well that day. Though I don't normally speak that well, I thought मैंने Make in India और आत्मनिर्भरता पे अच्छा push दिया है. He taps me and he tells me, "Sir, can I have your चश्मा?" तो मेरा चश्मा ले लिया उसने. And he tells me, आपने वहाँ आत्मनिर्भरता की बात की, पर आपका चश्मा तो इंडियन नहीं है. And it really touched my heart. I think that is what is your strength. That is what I love when I'm with all of you, when I'm with the startup world. That confidence, that ability to go up to the minister and tell him that let's start right from what we never had realized it. That nobody in India was making quality lenswear or quality spectacles. Think about it. I don't know if all of us were to check our spectacles, unless we've already started and switched over to his. But I don't know whether we had any great spectacle manufacturers of world-class quality until one of the startups decided to get into it. So I was just telling Ms. Bhattagar, please make sure that when we populate the data on BHASKAR, it's not just any and every entrepreneur whose journey is captured in BHASKAR. There has to be something unique, some innovation, some USP which differentiates it from somebody who's just starting a typical regular operation. It could be as simple a thing as a significant improvement on its ESG obligation. But there has to be some unique proposition when we are recognizing a startup, because a startup is possibly innovation plus entrepreneurship. It's not just entrepreneurship. So we are going to make a serious effort so that the startup ecosystems become more visible, become more democratic or more socialized across the country, and going forward across the world, because Bhaskar would be available for the world to see. It'll help us create the brand that Startup India should be now. It'll help the world recognize the innovative and inquisitiveness of Indian young men and women, Indian minds who are coming up with newer and newer ideas or ways to do work. And I'm sure, as the Honorable PM had said, we are shaping our policies not based on the past, but with an eye on the future. And I think that is what is the strength of Startup India, is your strength, is your contribution to the India growth story. We may be 1.4 lakh today, but I think the more we encourage young minds to be job creators rather than job seekers, the more we encourage young, and for that matter, more we encourage Indians of any age, the more we encourage them to be willing to fail and look at failure only as a stepping stone to a better and brighter future, to success in the future, the more we are able to help big ideas fructify and become possibly baby steps initially, but those baby steps willing to dream big, willing to take risk. I think we can be assured that we've done a job well. We've honestly been able to support the startup ecosystem, and I have absolutely no doubt in my mind that Prime Minister Modi's vision of digital India was with a very, very clear focus that technology will be the strength of India. Technology and interconnectivity across the nation will help Indian minds to engage with the world, whether it's artificial intelligence, whether it's Industry 5.0 now, whether it's newer and newer ways of providing services or serve the people, newer ways of doing commerce in an honest way, of course, within the framework of the law. All of these will do better, will help India grow faster, will help build brand India as a powerful tool to market our products and services across the world, and help us change the image of India in the rest of the world. Sanjeev very rightly said that in every delegation, we try and make it a point to have some of the other startups join us. Very often, in fact, I feel sad that many of the successful startups also are not willing to be a part of international delegations. I can tell you honestly, it gives you a very good chance to connect. And you all are startups, you recognize that every visit will not necessarily be a success story. But you never know, one visit and one visiting card exchange could become a game changer, could change your destiny. You never know. And I would encourage that we should now look outward, look internationally. Many of our unicorns or many of our startups are really ripe to become world players today in different sectors. It's not necessary only that fintech or space should be looking outward. I think in every single sector that you have got into, there's tremendous opportunity. The last 7 or 8 years have been a great success story. I think almost unicorn a month or something coming out of the Indian stable. We say the third largest fintech ecosystem, the third largest startup ecosystem, but our aspirations don't end there. We should be aspiring to go beyond. We should be aspiring to have our own Silicon Valley. While I know that Bengaluru does pride itself, before Prakash takes any objection, I know Bangalore prides itself on being the Silicon Valley of India, but I think it's time now we also started thinking in terms of maybe tying up with MIGDIC and creating a whole new township dedicated to entrepreneurs and startups and innovators and disruptors, people with ideas. Can we create a society or a whole 200, 100, 500 acre area? Amardeep, maybe our department should also help them and see whether we can create some such ecosystem where, whether it's incubators, whether it's somebody coming from a very far off place with an idea who doesn't know where and whom to connect with, can just land up there. Like once upon a time, people used to come to Mumbai. People at one point of time used to look at Mumbai pahunch jao ek baar, is the city of dreams, is the city of opportunity. And many people made it big once they reached Mumbai. Even if they started as a boot polish wala, you can go both sides. You can start as a boot polish wala and become a well-known smuggler like we would see in some of the movies. Or you can become a big industrialist. We have all types of stories, but I do hope the startups will not go down that path. मुझे याद आ रहा था because I was just, somebody sent me a clipping of that famous Amitabh Bachchan movie. I think it was Diwar most probably, where Haji Mastan or somebody, I don't know who throws that. हाँ, फेंके हुए पैसे मैं ही उठाता हूँ, हाथ में दो. That is the strength of India. That is Bharat. And when we look at the startup world, this truly reflects the startup world. हम किसी के ऊपर मोहताज नहीं होंगे, हम अपने पैर पे खड़े होंगे, इज्जत से भारत के स्टार्टअप की दुनिया को, विश्व के स्टार्टअप की दुनिया में अपना सही स्थान दिलाएंगे. ये क्षमता हम सब में है, ये क्षमता भारत में है. और इसीलिए स्टार्टअप के एग्जीबिशन, स्टार्टअप के पूरे इकोसिस्टम को जब प्रेजेंट करना था, तो संजीव, प्रशांत एंड दिस होल टीम gave it the name Startup Mahakumbh. कुंभों का भी कुंभ महाकुंभ होता है, the largest. And I think that's where our aspirations are. We have a lot of catch up to do, but I know that we have the ability to reach there. Well, with the highest standards of integrity, highest respect for quality, but the courage of conviction that nobody in the world can stop the Indian startups from succeeding to capture the world. My best wishes to all of you. They've already spoken about Bhaskar. I thought I'll not repeat all of that. I have some talking points on Bhaskar also. But let's make this a one-stop shop for all data dissemination, for engagement, for interaction. Also, this new company will then house it so people who are looking for mentors, who are looking for finance. One-stop shop for the entire startup ecosystem through simple, easy to use links, easy to navigate technology. And of course, one or the other of the startups here will also come out with a better version of Bhaskar. We should keep upgrading this entire tech story that we have created. Who has made this Bhaskar? Any company or in-house? So then better we allow them to also improvise it. हमने सरकार में ये नहीं सोचना चाहिए कि हमको सब कुछ आता है. Hand it over to them and they'll come up with a better way to create. We've seeded it. अब वतन आपके हवाले. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your inspiring words and for gracing us with your esteemed presence. I would now like to invite Shri Neelaj Bhatia, Head and Senior Vice President at Startup India, to deliver the closing remarks.
A very good evening to one and all present here. And as we come to the close of today's event, there is a new dawn for the startup ecosystem. Uktava Suraj has the JSR just said. It's really an honor for all of us to be here to witness this launch today. It's actually a cumulative effort of several people from the ecosystem, from the Startup India teams, the inspiration that was provided by everybody here on the dais for us to really realize this vision. It really took last several months, days and nights to put up a platform like this in this short span. Thank you so much, everybody, sir, for helping us realize this. With that sentiment, I would really like to extend our heartfelt gratitude to the Honorable Minister of Commerce and Industry, Shri Piyush Goyal ji, for his encouragement and leadership. Sir, I would really like to say one thing is your drive really makes us excel in this journey. I'm also grateful to Shri Amardeep Singh Bhatia ji, sir, and Secretary DPIT. Shri, my sincere thanks to Mrs. Aarti Bhatnagar, Additional Secretary. She's been an epitome of support as we go through several rounds of support from her. Our dear Shri Sanjeev ji, JS sir, Mr. Sumit, he's been a very strong supporter of us through this entire journey, enabling us as we go along through the different obstacles we come across. I would just like to say, before we close, the real idea of Bhaskar was like to bring everybody onto one platform, as was rightly identified, is to ensure that no one entity across in this country can say that we can lift and propel that entire startup ecosystem. It's the coming together of everybody that really brings the power to lift that ecosystem up. And with that, once again, let us celebrate the Bhaskar journey as it drives the spirit of collaboration to innovate, connect, and thrive. Thrive to the next decade of the startup ecosystem in India, really. Thank you so much.
Speak loud enough. I believe you have a panel discussion. I have a visitor. I just have to do one meeting. After I finish that meeting, तब तक आपका panel discussion हो जाएगा. I'll join you for tea, which is organized in the room next door. So I'll get to meet all of you in about half an hour or so. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I would like to take a moment to express our sincere gratitude to the Honorable Minister of Commerce and Industry for his esteemed presence and invaluable support for the startup ecosystem. His vision and leadership has been instrumental in driving India's entrepreneurial journey. I request you all to please be seated. I request you all to be seated. We've got a panel discussion to follow on.
The discussions can continue during the high tea session. We would really request for your support and cooperation as we prepare for the next leg of the program.
For the last segment of the day, we have curated a panel discussion titled Bhaskar, Catalyzing Innovation through Collaboration. Our esteemed panelists aim to deep dive and share perspectives into how Bhaskar will serve as a driving engine for cross-sector and technology innovation. Now, I would like to call upon stage my colleague Rishika Chatterjee, who will be moderating the panel today. Rishika?
हाँ हाँ माइक चाहिए और एक ऋषिका भी ऑफ है ना
नहीं ऑन है माइक सर
ठीक है I would kindly request everybody to please take their seats.
Whoever is there, we just send.
So what I do, I'll keep it like this.
Good evening, everyone. It is my pleasure to welcome you all to this exciting discussion.
एक्सक्यूज मी, मैं सभी लोगों को रिक्वेस्ट करूंगा कि एक बार बैठ जाएं। अब आपके इंडिया के सबसे अच्छे और टॉप जो कहा जाता है संजीव बिखचंदानी साहब का हम लोग हर कोई सुनने के लिए प्रेरित रहते हैं और अभी सर का होगा, तो एक बार सभी लोग बैठ जाएं। टीम से भी बोल रहे हैं, सब लोग 1 मिनट के अंदर सब लोग बैठ जाएं एंड वी विल स्टार्ट इट अगेन।
Good evening, everyone. After that insightful session and everything that the dignitaries on stage said, we want to hear from the industry stalwarts. We want to understand what is it that Bhaskar brings to everybody on the table. It is my pleasure to welcome you all to this exciting panel discussion on Bhaskar, catalyzing innovation through collaboration. As we all know, the startup ecosystem in India is growing rapidly, and initiatives like Bhaskar will play a pivotal role in fostering cross-sectoral collaboration, bridging the gaps that exist in the ecosystem, and enhance India's position as a global leader in entrepreneurship. Our panel today brings together industry stalwarts who have played a significant role in shaping the entrepreneurial and innovation landscape. Please join me in welcoming the wonderful panelists today. Big round of applause. We have with us Mr. Sanjeev Bikhchandani, founder of InfoEdge, Mr. S.P. Singh from SIDBI, Mr. Apurva Chamaria, head of venture capital and startups at Google India, and Ms. Archana Jahagirdar, founder partner of Rokam Capital. Each of these leaders bring with them a wealth of experience from different sectors, and today we will discuss how platforms like Bhaskar can catalyze innovation and collaboration across industries, how it can help us connect, innovate, and thrive. I will start with you, Mr. Bikhchandani. You have been at the forefront of India's digital and entrepreneurial transformation. How do you think a platform like Bhaskar can create a structured ecosystem to support entrepreneur stakeholders, even from underrepresented regions?
So I think, look, we're not really looking for structure. Even unstructured is fine, as long as everybody's there, right? And you can talk to whoever you want to or need to. I think while people in larger cities are well networked, they have access. I think, in smaller cities, in smaller towns, in rural areas, founders perhaps don't have the kind of mentors, the funding, the networks, and people who don't have pedigree backgrounds in terms of education qualifications or companies they've come from, they often do not have access to funding or mentorship. So what this does is it creates a level playing field and allows inclusivity in the startup ecosystem. If there's a founder in let's say a small town, let's say in Bulandshahr, he somehow wants to reach Aman Gupta, whom he's seen on TV in Shark Tank, right? At least you can send him a message. Now Aman will of course have to hire a separate assistant to respond to the number of queries he gets, but he will be able to answer. But I was thinking as I was sitting in the audience, and we were all consulted earlier on what the features of Bhaskar should be. मेरे को अभी एक idea आया है. which I have not mentioned earlier because abhi aaya hai. You see, some of the things that startups face is this issue of interfacing with the government, especially junior government, especially junior bureaucracy, especially local government, also central government, but right now, let's say, if you go to China, typically every local government, every district, every town, every city, every mayor has a target for investment, a target for industrial growth. That system is not there in India. You have it at state level, you have it at national level, but you don't really have it at a district level or a local level. Now, supposing you were to include in Bhaskar, in every local area, every district, here are the 448 startups, sir, in your district, right? Please ensure that, if they have any problems, they are solved. At the same time, you should enable the startups there to say, okay, this is your local officials. This is your local SHO, this is your local SP or district magistrate, whoever, whichever problem you have, you can reach out to them and hopefully get a response. Likewise, for any income tax or GST or anything, that in your local area, this is who you can contact, so that problems get solved between government and startup interface at the local level, right? Without having to escalate it. If Bhaskar can provide that functionality in addition to whatever else is being planned, it will be very useful in my opinion.
Thank you so much for that. Drawing from that, actually, that is connected to what Minister Sir was also saying, that tier 2, tier 3 should all be there. There's access to information, and that's exactly what Bhaskar is trying to achieve. Linking back to the point of connecting to searchability, I would like to ask my next question to Apurv. How do you think tech giants like Google can leverage Bhaskar to identify such high growth ventures and be part of initiatives like Google Startup School that we do, and even, high ambitious projects like Google Moonshot? How do you see this enhanced searchability factor becoming an important part?
Thank you. That's a great question. So India has about 18,500 crores. And we just heard that other than possibly 8 districts, there is a startup in every district.
Yes.
Today, I can tell you, we really don't have that granular visibility. So if we have to search for, say, energy transition startups across India, or we have to search for startups which are exporting from India to the globe, it's a very, very difficult task. So Bhaskar is such a great initiative because we can source startups to skill them, we can create an investment pipeline, we can upskill and help startups adopt to the world of AI. So, and I'm sure lots and lots of corporates will benefit, including global corporates, some of them who might not even be present in India. They'll be able to benefit from the startup list, give them orders, invest in them, skill them, and really enable them.
Thank you so much. Thank you. That brings me to my point that you're exactly right. We always make these platforms which are accessible to people who already have all the information. And this is where we should go out of our way and try to get it to people who actually need it. That brings me to my next question to Mr. S.P. Singh about access to funding. How do you think, as a government body, the kind of data that will be available, the kind of cohort that you will be able to select, the kind of collaborations that you can also connect with other government platforms, how do you see that happening through Bhaskar?
Yeah, so in fact, a couple of data I would like to share with the audience, that how this government initiative has changed the shape of startup in India. 2016, when this national program was launched, that time there were hardly 160 AIF registered in India. And today, Cat 1, Cat 2 AIFs are more than 1,000 in numbers. You see the kind of change which has brought this government intervention to the ecosystem. And I think Honorable Secretary is sitting here, he will be definitely feeling proud. Sir, 42% of the total fund which have been committed has gone to first-time fund managers. Means this government intervention has seeded the fund managers. And therefore, this today AIF, if you see the networking, AIFs are coming out from even not only from Bangalore, Mumbai or Delhi, but even tier 2, tier 3 cities. And I'm receiving a number of proposals from the incubation center itself. They are launching their own. So that's the power which the government intervention has definitely brought in. The second important aspect, roughly 3,000 crore worth of commitment of the fund has gone to the startups in tier 2 and tier 3 cities.
what Sanjeev was talking about, a startup coming in Shahjahanpur, Gaya, these kind of places, the startups have been funded out of this fund of fund which government has supported. So that's the kind of spread which you have brought in. Now all this data and this pool, if you are flowing to this Bhaskar, I think naturally, I mean, a bigger synergy is going to be created, and I think the Indian startup ecosystem is well poised to move to the next level.
Thank you so much, sir. As you very rightly pointed out, it's not just startups. A startup goes through an entire life cycle, and it can never do it alone. It needs to start with mentorship, investors, a lot of other people, and that's what's the segue to my next question to Ms. Archana. With your experience both as a mentor, as an investor, how do you think Bhaskar can bridge the mentorship gap that probably exists with university? And what do you think mentors can get out of this platform?
So you can't be a mentor if you don't have a mentee, right? So guru तभी बनता है जब शिष्य मिलते हैं. So I think look, what I have seen is that even startups and founders from tier 1 or the big metro cities, they also need handholding. It's a journey that most people are not familiar with, and there are lots of obstacles. Building something ground up is one of the toughest things you can do in your life. So there are so many problems, and you need somebody who's patient with you, who's been through the journey, and who can support you with, I think there has to be a lot of conversations without judgment. So therefore, in a platform like this, when you can connect people looking for mentors, I think it's going to bridge a very significant gap, because I think it's important that mentors do it selflessly, to give back, and not for commercial gain. I think that's a very, very key aspect of mentoring that we must have in this country. And for mentees to be able to assess who's the right mentor, because there has to be a fitment of mindset, chemistry. So there are many things that have to work for it to come together. So the starting point, of course, is where do you find them? And Bhaskar is going to fill that gap. So I think it's a great thing. I think without a mentor, you cannot really do great things.
Absolutely. Absolutely agree. Thank you so much. So this is going to be my question to everybody over here across the panel. As you know, we keep mentioning points like incubators, accelerators, but there are some other non-traditional words, non-traditional personas that we have identified for Bhaskar. One of them is your traditional business owner. You may think that a traditional business owner, what does it have to do with a startup? But they are also looking to disrupt, they're also looking to innovate. And we also have a category called enablers, where anybody or everybody who's working for a startup in a personal capacity is included. And a very, very interesting category called explorer, where anyone who's excited, wants to know more about the ecosystem is a part of this. So I would like to ask all of y'all, what is that one line you would say to these non-traditional roles and ask them to come on to Bhaskar? Starting with you, sir.
Yeah, you're putting me in a spot. I wish I'd known the question earlier.
No worries, no worries. Do you want me to repeat the question once?
There used to be a very, in the 80s, there was this couple of matrimonial services offline in Delhi, at least, or North India. And there was this famous line, and you could see the wall paintings all the way up to Howrah almost, maybe, when you went by train. Rishte hi rishte mil lone. That's the one line I'd use.
Thank you so much. Sir, please.
I will say Bhaskar is also symbolizes energy. I think it will energize everyone, whosoever is into business.
Thank you so much, sir. Wonderful line.
So one line I'll use is come one, come all.
Thank you.
I would say for all the non-traditional ecosystem partners whom you very thoughtfully included in the ecosystem, the single word is ABC. Always be connecting.
Oh, wow. That's a wonderful, wonderful line. So with that, we come to the end of this wonderful, wonderful, insightful session. Thank you so much for joining us today. And we hope to innovate, connect, and thrive together. If you're not registered on Bhaskar, register now. We are live. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Rishika. Thank you all for sharing your valuable insights and perspectives. We request all of your support, continued support as ambassadors for this revolution. Lastly, I would like to thank everyone for their presence today, for being a part of the Bhaskar launch, a journey that is truly close to our heart. We are excited about the new opportunities and collaborations that will unfold for the entrepreneurial ecosystem of India. I urge you all to register and participate on the platform actively. Additionally, we request you to record bites and testimonials at the booths outside the room to help spread the word across your network. We once again thank you for your time in joining us today. यहीं से शुरू होगी आपकी सपनों की उड़ान. Let's innovate, connect and thrive together. Thank you.